Okay, it's that time. It's another Saturday doing that Carpool Confession. It's time for me to hustle and flow and figure out, what I'm going to talk about again today. So I had to give it a lot of thought. So what I was thinking about, after I come back this afternoon, got to show some houses. And I was thinking about it. I've done some videos on this in the past because, real estate agents, we have this little issue with folks, they want to see too many. These folks, they look at a lot of my videos. So, it's not an issue on these folks, but I just really wanted to talk to folks about this. You got folks coming to town. Some of them just want
I want to see 20 houses in one day.
It just doesn't help anything. You'll end up forgetting everything. So I'm going to go through some things that's going to really help you out when it comes to looking at houses, especially when you're coming into town. I'm coming in town for the weekend. I want to look at a whole bunch of houses. Going to actually end up hurting yourself. One of the things we did, these guys are in town for about a week, and they did it really, really smart. It's like, hey, let's look at the area that we're interested in, because they're going to be looking at new homes. Because after we sat down, again, the smart thing, sit down with the realtor, start trying to figure things out. And, we went over what they wanted in the house. And, we built a list of the home builders that are going to work the best for them. So after that, I went back and I went through everything. So I built a nice, careful list where, the houses, kind of near things that they were interested in, and then let them decide. Because one of the things people don't think about is when you're looking for houses, it's not just new houses, any kind of house. When you're driving to the house, you're not thinking about a whole bunch of things. You may think about them later, and later may mean after you've purchased the house, you're in it, and a few months later, you're like,
I hate this place.
Remember, you're making a very big decision, huge purchase that's going to affect you for possibly years. Unless you got a couple of $1 million in the bank, you can go
you know what, I'm just going to sell this house, I'm going to buy another one, and
not everybody has it like that. So here's my suggestion. Even if you live here or live wherever you're going to be at, don't just go someplace looking at houses. Spend a day or two driving around. I've found the people who enjoy the houses the best did this. Get a tour of the area. I'm serious. Take your car, take your rental car, whatever. If you're here, of course you got a car. Go on someplace, get that rental. And then what you do is you actually go to the areas for the houses you're interested in. Don't just go by a bunch of YouTube videos. That's a good start, because sometimes that's sugarcoating it. Because remember, they're putting out what the best is. Oh, Summerlin, that's the best place to be. Green Valley, that's the best place to be. Whatever city you're in, that's the best place to be. You want to be in Scottsdale if you're down in Phoenix, wherever. Go there and see what it's like. What's it like to live there? What are the cafes like? What's the shopping like? Do you really want to live there? I'm serious. You'll find a whole big thing, because these folks, they actually spent a couple of days driving around. They called me up and they were like,
we know Vegas now.
Which now, of course, forces me to do something I've been threatening to do. Hadn't talked about it, but now I've got to do it. I got to put together a definitive guide on the cities, so people kind of know what's going on every place, and kind of know the driving directions and all this stuff. And it's like, all these things I got to get done. So anywho, this way, when it was all done, of that list of the home builders, or at least the home sites that they were, that met their criteria for what they wanted, they were able to narrow that down to the ones we're going to go see, or at least half of them today, that they really wanted, because these were the neighborhoods they really wanted to be in. Now, that was better than willy-nilly just going places and talk about, let's just go see what's there. This is much better because it's more thought out. Now, that's just for, we're talking right now about new homes. What about when you're buying a resale home? Here's the thing that's been a pet peeve of mine. When we set out, we're going to go see homes, and then, you give the person a list of homes and the addresses and all this stuff. One of the things I do is I put together a little packet for folks. It's like, okay, this is the first home, this is the second home. I actually do driving directions in case they get lost. They don't have a GPS. Turn by turn, how to get there, how long it's going to take. But they'll go
we'll just follow you.
I'll tell you a secret. Worst thing you can do is follow your realtor. One, you can get lost. Two, you're not paying attention to what's going on around you. I had a situation once where each time I go you really should just put the address in your phone and, be able to get there. And the person, you get to when you start to learn Vegas, you'll get someplace you need to turn left on a major street, or even right. But, there's traffic. You can't exactly time it to where two cars can get across that daggum road. Even if you're turning right, you'll be waiting there all day long. And that's what happened twice during the thing. And then they'll call you up going
I'm lost.
Okay, well, where are you at?
I see a gas station.
But what about this? Here's the address. Why don't you put that into your phone?
Well, can't you just tell me how to get there?
But they had a phone. I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing to do. Make sure you have the addresses. Make sure you know the order. Next, don't do the I will meet you there. If it says it's 10 minutes, so I'm gonna meet you there in 15, 20 minutes. Don't just go drive there and wait for the realtor. You'll learn that in most cities, not just Las Vegas, that neighborhood could be the bomb. What about the neighborhood that's a block over? It could be the pits. You're gonna find that a lot in a lot of cities. Get there and drive that neighborhood and drive the neighborhoods that are around it. I had this one house that I was selling one time, and it's so funny. The person I was interested in it, they was like, oh, we love the neighborhood, but it's the surrounding neighborhoods we don't like. And then the seller's like,
well, what you got to do is you got to tell people that they need to, come down this way and then this way, so they see these nice neighborhoods because they came this way because GPS is going to lead them down this way and they're going to see these neighborhoods and, that.
You know what? They're going to be living there. You can't direct people to come down nice neighborhoods to see your house so they don't see the not nice neighborhoods. And by the way, if you're the buyer, would you appreciate that? Oh, someone directed you to come a certain way so you wouldn't see the bad neighborhood. You're going to be living there. So you as the buyer need to see that. You need to spend that block for a few minutes. You need to get there before the realtor, believe it or not. You want the realtor to arrive at the same time or before you? I would say I would rather be there before the realtor. You know why? I want to look around and see if I want to be there without the realtor getting in my ear. You guys ever heard of affirmations? I want to make $1 million. I see myself as a person who does all this. There is an affirmation that I'm not going to say from who, but a major real estate person. They have these affirmations you say at every morning and stuff. The affirmation is,
I will ask every buyer to buy the house that I show them.
Why would you ask somebody to buy the house that you show them? What if that house isn't right for them? Make sure the house is right for you. Easiest way to know if a house is right for you is to, look at it. Another one, don't go looking at a house when it's dark. Had a situation right before COVID. Actually, it was like right as COVID was starting. The family wanted to go see a house. It's like, well, at that time it's going to be dark. It's really not a great idea to go see a house in the dark because you don't see what the neighborhood's like, and you don't see, and it was going to be like the first house we were going to go see. You're not going to see everything.
Well, it's like, oh no, we don't mind.
No. You really want to see everything. We finally go see the house. There was nothing wrong with the house per se, and it's just my experience that you want to see it all. You don't want to go see a house at night. And they, they thanked me. It was like,
you know what? I really got to see everything, and you're right.
And these are things that, it comes with experience. Sometimes you just can't help it that you do that. And sometimes you have to come back because, if you're working during the day and the only times you can see it at night is you may have to come back during the weekends, especially, if the market's super hot. But the market's not super hot. Why are you doing that? Wait until the weekend. Wait until you have a day off. Next one, Google. Google is your friend. You know why Google is your friend? It has Google Maps. Google Maps are the bomb. I've run across situations where photos can be very deceptive as far as like the front of the house and stuff. What's not deceptive? Google Photos and the satellite photos. Look at what the front of the house actually looks like. If you're like an entertainer, you got your family over all the time, you host barbecues, cookouts, different folks call it different things. Some people call it cookouts, some people call it barbecues. You want to make sure that you can host those barbecues / cookouts. Do you have enough space? I had a family one time, they were like huge and having weekend parties and stuff, but they would keep, sending houses that they would never be able to have a cookout. And it's like, let me show you. Let's look at these satellite views. Do you see any place where your family can park 10 cars? Oh, no. After seeing a few houses, you can see that. But you can see it on satellite view. You can see it by just going to Google Street View. Another one, when you're looking, drive around virtually on the Google map. How do I know how old the map is? Look at the date. It's on the bottom right-hand side. It tells you the date that particular frame was taken. Be careful. They stitch the frames together. So go 1 or 2 frames over to the left and the right and look at them and then point towards the house and don't forget the neighbors and look at the date and see when those frames were taken Because remember, it's a 360 camera, and just look all around, and just because that frame could be, 2022, that frame could be 2025. You know what I mean? Okay, the next one. When you're looking at the pictures, remember, we got Photoshop now. Not only do we have Photoshop, and we had that for a minute, we got AI now. AI, it is good. You need to look to see and figure out if those pictures are great. I mean, I've seen photos, they just look so great and warm and inviting. And you try to, go to the house, you walk in, it's like, what's this? This ain't the house I saw on the MLS. Yeah, that's where we live right now. So be very careful of that. And it's, most agents don't know how to use the AI very well in Photoshop, or they're too cheap. But the little they do use, you can kind of figure it out. Figure out angles. If you can't see certain things, there's a reason why. I'm giving you a hint. It's kind of like a floor stomper in the military. I'm stomping the floor, I'm giving you a hint. There is a reason why there's a strange angle. They don't want you to see something, okay? And the final one I'm gonna leave you with is the number of houses you need to see, or I'm sorry, max houses to see. To be honest, I found that the limit is 4 to 6. That is the limit that people have in their brain that they can actually track on a house. Very few people can go past that 6. I had a lady one time, she insisted, she wanted to see, I think it was like 12 houses. And we finished up at the 12th house and she goes,
can I go back and see this house, and this house?
I'm like, well, why do you want to go back and see this house, and this house? And then she just clams up. And she looks down and it's just real low. She goes,
I don't remember what any of the houses look like today.
Yeah, people do that. Had another one time. He was actually a Marine, 0311, and he was working for PMC. I actually ended up selling him a house and everything. I was telling him about it, and we saw 6 houses. And I was telling him, and as a matter of fact, I had to drive him around. This was a young guy in his 20s. We finished the day and he was like,
I'm completely worn out. I can barely remember anything.
Young guy. Can you imagine if you're, a little bit older, what it's gonna be like? Yeah, it's 4 to 6. Trust me, do these things and you're gonna find the home that you want, and you're gonna end up with the best deal humanly possible. So just follow the steps. It's all math. The path is in the math. So if you want to stick around, learn some more about this stuff, all the stuff is here. And keep me accountable. I'm going to try to finish up my relocation guide, along with, now I got to put together a city guide, or a few city guides for Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson, so you guys can drive around, figure out what's going on. But like I say, you guys keep reaching out to me, which is keeping me nice and busy, which I love. Call, text, email, better yet, get on my calendar if you're a real buyer. So anyway, for my military brothers and sisters, you know the drill. Alpha, Mike, Foxtrot, and to the rest of you folks, which is actually the majority who are reaching out to me, you know what I'm going to say. Also, I'm going to keep them lights on for you. Right now, YouTube should be popping up a video for you. And if you can do me a favor, I would love to meet you over there. And I'm going to see you guys a little bit later over in that next video.